Hello friend, today we are going to discuss mortgage of immovable property under section 58 of Transfer of Property Act 1882. If you are hearing this topic for the first time, nothing to worry about. By end of this lecture, you will be able to understand what a mortgage is all about, the essential element and the 6 type of mortgage recognized under Indian law. So let's begin. Now before you understand the mortgage, we should first know the difference between a secured loan and an unsecured loan. You must have heard about these two terms called secured and unsecured loan. Now what is this secured and unsecured loan is all about? A secured loan is a loan that backed by the security. Okay, the borrower gives the lender some property as a security for repayment of the loan. The security may be either movable property or immovable property. So if movable property such as gold, jewelry or vehicle, in that case the transaction is called pledge. And if a immovable property such as land, house or flat, then a transaction would be called as mortgage. Okay, so now I hope you understand what is the difference between a pledge and a mortgage. Okay, now if the borrower fails to repay the loan, the lender has the legal right to recover the money by enforcing the security subject to the applicable law and terms and condition is the agreement. So that was all about the secured loan. And now unsecured loan. So unsecured loan is a loan given without taking any property as a security. Okay, so in this case lender rely mainly on the borrower promises, financial strength, income and credibility. Since there is no security has been provided, the unsecured loan carries a higher risk for the lender. If the borrower defaults repaying the loan, then the lender cannot directly proceed against any specific property because no property has been provided as a security. Okay, so instead of, lender must recover the money through a legal remedies available under the law. So for example, suppose I take a home loan of 20 lakhs from a bank and I mortgage my house. So this is a secured loan because the house serves a security here. In the other hand, if I take a personal loan of 2 lakhs without giving any property as a security, then this would call as a unsecured loan. So banks grant such loans based on my income, my credit or credit history or maybe ability to repay. Okay, so now we'll understand what is a mortgage. Okay, so according to section 58 of Transfer of Property Act 1882, a mortgage is a transfer of an interest in specific immovable property to secure the repayment of the money advanced by the lender. So the important terms here is the transfer of an interest. So in mortgage, ownership of the property is not transferred. Okay, the borrower continues to be the owner, but the lender acquires a legal interest in that property to secure for the loan. So let's understand by giving an example. Suppose A needs 20 lakhs amount for his business. So instead of selling his house, he approaches a bank for a loan. The bank agrees to lend money to A. So A mortgages his house as well. So here A is called the mortgager, the borrower who offer his property as a security. The bank is a mortgagee, the lender who advanced the loan, and the amount 20 lakhs is called the mortgage money. Okay, although the bank has legal interest in that property, but A remains the owner and he can continue use the house subject to the terms in the mortgage. Now the important question arises is what happens if the mortgager does not repay the loan. I'm sure everybody is waiting for this question. Okay, so in the situation, the mortgagee in that situation where the mortgager cannot repay the loan, then the mortgagee can enforce the right created under that mortgage depending on the type of mortgage and the applicable law. The mortgagee may first approach to the court to obtain a decree for sale that mortgage property. This as a simple mortgage, or sell the property where the law or mortgage terms permit, take a possession of the property and continues enjoying its income, recover the outstanding loan amount from the same proceeding and property, and if the amount remain after satisfying the debt related to the expense, the balance can be returned back to the mortgagor. So therefore a mortgagee does not immediately transfer mortgage does not immediately transfer the ownership of the lender. It simply provides a lender a legal remedy to recover the loan if the borrowers default. Okay, so now I hope you understand what a mortgage is. Now since you know what the mortgage is all about, now so let's understand there are three essential elements of a valid mortgage. For a mortgage to be valid under section 58 of Transfer of Property Act 1882, there must be three conditions to be satisfied. Okay, the first condition is there must be a transfer of an interest. Okay, as I mentioned in the previous slide, there must be a transfer of an interest. The second condition is the interest must be specific to immovable property, and third is the interest must be transferred to secure the repayment of loan of any financial liabilities. Okay, now we will discuss in details what are these three essential elements. So first essential element is transfer of an interest. This means the owner does not transfer the entire ownership of the property to the lender. He transfer only a limited legal interest to the lender as a security for that loan. Okay, so so the main difference between the sale and the mortgage is, in the sale the seller transfer all the rights to the buyer and he stop being the owner of that property, but in mortgage the owner keeps the ownership. Okay, only a legal interest is given to the lender until the loan is repaid. Say for example, I mortgage my house to a bank for a loan. Okay, now I am still the owner of that house. The bank only has a legal right over the property as a security. Okay, now the second essential element is the property must be specific and immovable. So for a mortgage deed, it should be clearly identify the property. I mean, it should mention the detail of the property, you know, the house number, flat number, service apartment number, the full address of the property should be mentioned. Anyone reading the mortgage deed should be able to identify that property without any confusion. Okay, and the third essential element would be the property must be given as a security for a loan or financial liability. The purpose of mortgage is to make sure that the lender can recover the money if the borrower fails to repay. So these are the three essential elements of a valid mortgage. Now since we have understand the meaning of mortgage and the essential element of the mortgage as well, so let's look what are the different kind of mortgage. So under section 58 of Transfer of Property Act 1882, there are 6 type of mortgage recognized in India: simple mortgage, mortgage by conditional sale, usufructuary mortgage, English mortgage, mortgage by deposit of title deed, and anomalous mortgage. Okay, now each type of mortgage has is different. The right and duties of the borrower called mortgagor and the lender called the mortgagee depends on the type of the mortgage is created. Okay, for example, if some mortgage borrower keeps the possession of the property, in other mortgage the lender gets the possession. In some cases the lender must approach the court to recover the money, while in other case different legal remedies are available. So it's very important to understand the feature of each mortgage. Okay, so in next few slides we will discuss these 6 type of mortgage one by one. with a simple example. Okay, so let's continue to understand that. So first type of mortgage is under section 58 Transfer of Property Act is called a simple mortgage. So what is simple mortgage? A simple mortgage is a type of mortgage where the borrower, called the mortgagor, has taken the loan and gives a personal promise to repay the loan, but the borrower does not hand over the possession of the property to the lender. Okay, so instead of borrower agrees that if the loan is not repaid, the lender can recover the loan amount, getting the mortgage property sold through a legal process. Okay, in simple word, the borrower keeps the possession of the property. The borrower personally promise to repay the loan. If the borrower defaults, the lender can seek the sale property through court or other legally applicable procedure to recover that loan. So let's give a simple example. So suppose I own a house. I take a loan of 20 lakhs from a bank. Okay, now bank does not take the possession of my house. I continue to live there. I also sign a loan agreement promises that I will repay the loan monthly installment. Now if I fail to repay the loan, then bank has the right to take the legal action and seek for a sale of that house to recover the outstanding amount. This is called the simple mortgage. Okay, the second type of mortgage is called the mortgage by conditional sale. Okay, now at first glance the transaction looks like a sale, but in reality it's not an absolute sale. It's only a mortgage created to secure the loan. Okay, now what is this mortgage by conditional sale is? So in this type of mortgage, the borrower appears to sell his immovable property to the lender, called the mortgagee. Okay, however, this sale subject to a condition. The condition is that if the borrower fails to repay the loan to the agreed date, the sale will become absolute and the mortgagee become the owner of the property. Okay, however, if the borrower repays the loan within the agreed time, okay, the sale become void and the property remains with the borrower. So there are two conditions. If the borrower fails to repay the loan on the agreed date, then the sale become absolute and the lender will become the owner of that property. And if the borrower repay the loan within a specific period of time, then the sale become void and the property remains with the borrower. Okay, so for example, I borrow 10 lakhs rupees from Mr. X. Okay, and I execute a document that appear to be sale of my property to Mr. X. In that document, the following conditions would be written. If I repay the loan within 1 year, the sale shall be void. But if I fail to repay the loan within 1 year, then the sale shall be become absolute. So this is not an ordinary sale. The mortgage, this is a mortgage by conditional sale, because the transfer depend of the repayment of the loan. Okay, now let's discuss the third type of mortgage known as a usufructuary mortgage. Okay, so the word usufruct comes from a Latin word, as you can understand from the pronunciation. Usus means use and fructus means fruit or income. Okay, so usufructuary mortgage means a mortgage where the lender has the right to use the property and enjoy all the benefits and income which generated from that property until the loan is repaid. Okay, so again, what is usufructuary mortgage? In this type of mortgage, the borrower, called the mortgagor, okay, delivers the possession of that property to the lender. Correct. Now the lender or the mortgagee, okay, entitled to have the possession of the property, use that property, collect the rent, crops or any other income from that property, adjust that income towards the interest or principal of that loan, and then the mortgagee continues to enjoy this benefit until the mortgage money or the loan amount is repaid. Okay, say for example, I borrow 20 lakhs from Mr. X. Instead of paying a monthly installment, I give the possession of the agricultural land to Mr. X. Okay, now Mr. X cultivates on that land and earn income from that crops. Okay, now this income is adjusted against that loan which he has given to me. Once the loan is fully repaid, Mr. X must return the possession of that land to me, back to me. So this is called a usufructuary mortgage. Okay, now now let's understand the fourth type of mortgage, which is called a English mortgage. Okay, section 58E. The English mortgage is different from other type of mortgage. Okay, because the ownership of the property is transferred to the mortgage, but only as the security for the loan. Once the loan is repaid, the property must be transferred back to the borrower. Okay, so what is this English mortgage is? In English mortgage, the borrower personally promised to repay the loan on a specific date. Okay, he transferred the ownership of the property absolutely to the lender, called the mortgagor, or to the lender. Okay, the transfer is made subject to the condition that once the entire loan is repaid, the mortgagee will transfer the property back to the mortgagor. Okay, in simple word, the property is transferred to the lender as a security, but after the repayment of the loan, the lender must return the property back to the borrower. For example, I take my example. I borrow 50 lakhs rupees from bank. As a security of the loan, I transfer the ownership of my house to the bank through a English mortgage. Now, mortgage agreement clearly states that after I repayment the entire loan amount along with the interest, the bank must transfer the ownership of the house back to me. Okay, therefore, although the ownership is temporarily transferred to the bank, the borrower has the right to get back after repayment of the loan. So this is called English mortgage. Okay, now we'll also discuss another type of mortgage, which is called mortgage by deposit of title deed. So this is called equitable mortgage, section 58F. Okay, so this is the fifth type of mortgage, called the mortgage by deposit of title deed. So what is this mortgage by deposit of title deed? A mortgage by deposit of title deed is created when a borrower deposit the original title deed of the immovable property to the lender, called as a intention of creating the security of that loan. Unlike other mortgage, no formal mortgage deed is required. Simply depositing the title deed of that property to the lender with the intention to secure the loan creates by the mortgagee. So this type of mortgage is commonly used by the bank while granting a home loan, because it quick and convenient for them. Suppose I take a home loan of 40 lakhs from a bank. I deposit the original deed of my flat with the bank as a security, like what happens in case of home loans. No separate mortgage deed is created between me and the lender. This is called the mortgage by depositing the title deed. So there are three essential elements in that particular mortgage by title deed. One is existence of the debt. Okay, there must be a genuine loan. This is the first essential element. Second essential element would be the deposit of title deed. As I said, the borrower must deposit the original title deed of the immovable property with the lender. Our intention to create the security. The title deed must deposited with the intention to creating a security. Does not creating a the title deed must be deposited with the intention of creating a security. So this was the fourth and fifth English mortgage, and the mortgage deposit of title deed, mortgage by deposit of title deed. Now the sixth and the last type of mortgage is known as anonymous mortgage. Okay, section 58G. So what is this anonymous mortgage? So anonymous mortgage is a mortgage that does not fall under any 5 specific type of mortgage recognized under section 58 of Transfer of Property Act. It's simple words, it is a special or mixed type of mortgage. It may be a combination of 2 or more type of mortgage, or a mortgage created according to the local custom or agreement between the parties. Okay, the right and duties of the parties depend mainly on the terms and conditions written in the contract. For example, I borrow money from Mr. X. I personally promise to repay the loan. I also give possession to the property or to the Mr. B. So Mr. B can enjoy the rent income from that property, and if the loan is not repaid, the Mr. B can also enforce the right to agreed upon in the mortgage. The mortgage combines the feature of simple mortgage as well as the usufructuary mortgage. So therefore it's called as anonymous mortgage. Okay, so this was the 6th type of mortgage which is enforceable by law in India under section 58 Transfer of Property Act. So I hope you understand the entire session, what is mortgage, what are the essential element of mortgage, and what are the types of mortgage under transfer of under section 58 of the Transfer of Property Act 1982. Okay, so thank you for watching.